Thanks there, Board Game Maniacs, for joining me in for this next episode of Painting Along with Me for the theme month of Games Workshop. We are continuing on painting The Lord of the Rings Quest for Mount Doom by Games Workshop. Board game, I think it's 1 to 4 players if I'm not mistaken. It's really cool. And you can see here we're painting another in Gandalf the Grey. If you haven't checked out any of the other videos into this series where I painted the Hobbits and Gimli, go check them out and it'll explain to you how I did the base here. You can already see the base is done with this, or treated with the sand and cork and the PVA, but that's about it. We're going to paint this as we go along. Pretty simple steps. He don't have a lot of color choices that he has it for Gandalf, so we're just going to start getting right into the painting. First color we're starting off with is Dark Reaper. Again, it's Citadel. We're painting mainly Citadel paints for these. And we are going to paint his garb, or his cloak that he's wearing. And we're just going to go on from there and see what other color that we're going to. He does have like a brown belt that's on here too as well. So we're going to be able to paint that. You know, what I plan on doing is after painting Dark Reaper on this and a wash and everything else, I'm going to highlight it with rust gray. Got to bring it all them wrinkles onto his cloak and everything else. Hopefully that will work really nice. But as always, if you watched any of the other paint with me into this series for the month, it could change between each clip. You know, we'll know more once we paint it and we're like, hey, this actually looks really good, or you know, it maybe a different color or what have you, because we've done that in the past. So again, all I'm doing is I'm just basing it out pretty much, and I'm trying to avoid getting anything onto the base itself, like where I got the sand and the cork going on. I got a lot of paint on my brush that time. And he's got his foot sticking out. But just like anything else, if you kind of make a mistake, you can always go over it and touch it up. No big deal. And this is pretty straightforward, very basic for Gandalf. I'm not going to bore everybody with this painting, and just, like I said, it's kind of boring because I'm not doing any special tricks. I'm just painting him, his cloak, his garb, in the rust gray, and then that's it. So what I'll do is I'm going to continue painting this, and I'll be back when that is all done. And again, I'm painting this as well as his cloak and everything else. I'm not painting his hat the same color. I'm going to paint a different color you'll see when I come back. And this is all based off of the image in the back of the rules manual for this game. You can see I finished painting all of his garb, his robe, and everything else. Just a quick turn around. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint his belt, and I'm painting him with none other than the Minotaur Brown, the leather color. And it's only very, very little in what I have to paint here. I mean, like, very little. So I'm just trying to do this so I'm not blocking where I'm painting. Be as gentle as possible, or careful as possible. I keep saying gentle, but when you're careful, you hopefully are gentle too as well. Again, it's very, very little of the brown belt color that I have to worry about here, because his robe kind of covers up a lot of it, as you can see there. I think I got it all. There's a little spot you can see right there. Actually, 2 little spots. There. So that's the brown. That's all the brown that he has. Now, for the hilt of his sword, I was going to paint it brown too as well, but you can't see it. So let's not paint it that. So the next thing, one other thing that I'm painting with the brown I totally forgot is on the bottom here you can see his foot is sticking through just ever so slightly, so I am just going to paint his foot. Because he'd wear like wizard boots. So just paint that part brown. And this other one you can't see because it is like really far back. It's underneath this cloak. So you can't see that. So that's it for the brown part. Pretty simple. And then we're going to go on with the next color. The next color that we're doing on him is we're going to paint the block of his sword, and I'm going to use Balthazar Gold for that. Very simple. So I'm just painting away without getting it on his hand. That probably would be the best thing, because he shouldn't have like a gold hand. By no means. Maybe in some other painting with me, I may do other skill things. Like I'm trying to learn wet blending, not on camera, but off camera. And I might kind of incorporate that into some of the paint along with me in the series for some, if it calls for it, that is, obviously. And so many things too as well that I'm trying to learn as I go along, and hopefully it's going to work out pretty good, because this is helping me by doing it on camera. It's forcing me to paint the miniatures that I need to get painted for future videos, for future battle reports on the channel. And this is kind of like a way of honing my painting skill, or developing a painting skill, as well as getting my miniatures painted. And like I said previously, I'm probably at one point going to start streaming these live, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday, where you can sit down and you can paint along with me, different things, and we can just chat and talk about anything, really. So Balthazar Gold is done on his hilt. Now we're going to paint roofing steel onto his blade. You see me paint a lot of blades for this specific month, because they all having swords or pans or both. So no difference, you know, I'm just painting away, painting away, painting away. Just like that. A lot of people will water down their paints when they're painting blades, especially like this, because they want nice and clean and smooth, which it should be. I totally agree. But again, like I said, I like things looking rough, like they've been in battle, they've been around for a while, and everything else like that. So I kind of tend to make a lot of things look like a lot of battle damage, or again, they've been aged and weathered and everything. And I know it's Gandalf's blade, he'd take care of it, but no exception for me. This is just my own personal choice. I probably asked this question in a previous tutorial, but just, let me, not even on camera there. There we go. On a previous tutorial, but just comment down below and let me know your process of painting blades. Do you like them looking all, I guess depending on circumstance, but do you like them looking all beat up and battle worn, like maybe orcs would have not such pristine blades? And maybe, like, you know, even some barbarians too, they're going to take care of their weapons, obviously, because you don't want them failing or breaking or what have you. But, you know, maybe they just grab what they have, and then after they grab what they have, they just, you know, they'll take from somebody else or kill them and take it. But that's it for the, we're going to go on to the next color now. And I'm thinking what we're going to paint next is the staff. Now the staff has wood, we're going to do XV88, and the top part is some kind of stone or gem, so I'm going to paint that a different color. One thing I totally forgot about here was he has some silver buckles onto his belt, so I just painted that with the roofing steel too as well. I just did it off camera because I pulled out my XV88 and I went to go and paint, and like, wait, there's something missing. So yeah, just to show you, I painted some buckles onto it. Now his staff again is XV88 based by Citadel. You can see it there kind of. There you go. So pretty simple. Paint around his hand first, just so that, you know, I get the delicate part out first. All these colors are just what I think they are into the picture. They may be a little different, but I'm not saying you have to. If you're following along and if you have this set and you're painting along with me, it's not like you have to paint it this same way. It's totally, you know, artistic choice of what you would rather paint or what colors you'd rather paint. Maybe you'd rather just not paint them at all. Who knows? Like some miniatures for board games, I don't have time to paint them, so I just play them on the channel as is. But others are like, okay, I should really paint the miniatures for this. I say that for everything though, like I should paint it, because I don't like playing with naked miniatures. When I say naked miniatures, I mean like miniatures that don't have any paint onto them, especially when they're really good detailed, such as these. They deserve to get some paint onto them. But, you know, if I'm in a rush and I need to get the videos done, then I'll paint them without, or I'll play the game without painting them, but I will eventually get around to painting them. I keep saying that, especially on a game. If you've checked the video out, Lobotomy, that's on the channel. Great little game. The miniatures look awesome. And I keep saying every time I go to play it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to paint these, but I never get around to it. So this here could be like a fire under my butt by starting this series of painting along with me. And if, like I said, if it gets popular enough likes and shares and comments, even subscribers too, like that, I'll be more than happy to paint them up faster, or sooner than later, I should say. Not faster, but sooner than later. Be happy to do that. So, as I said, onto his, he has this little stone on top of it, and I'm thinking I'm going to paint it white because that's what it looks like in the picture. So I'm probably just going to paint it white, but I'm still continuing on with the XV88. Again, I love this color for painting gun stocks, especially for bolt action. Like all of my Germans and Soviets, well, not all of them, but most of them, when they're carrying the rifles and they have the wooden stock onto them, I'll paint it with the XV88 because I really like the look of it, the color. So there you go. That part of his staff is painted. So now I'm gonna get out the white and I'm gonna paint the stone and his beard in here, but it's not actually white. I'm going to be painting it with Paladin Witch Flesh. Let's do the stone first on top of his staff. So let's try to be as careful as possible here. See, I'm whispering again, and you know I'm serious when I'm whispering. There we go. Kind of made a little bit of a mess there, but I will leave that dry and I'll touch it up with the XV88. But until then, let's paint his beard, his mustache, and everything else here. Whoa. I want to give that a little bit of separation, so there's a gap there for his lips, even though you can't really see them. But still, they're there. Putting the paintbrush. I think I'm going to have to change camera angles again, because I think my paintbrush is getting in a lot of the way of the camera. And when I say paintbrush, I mean my hand. It's coming along pretty good. I'll finish him off and I'll be back. I finished painting his beard, his mustache, and his hair in the back, you can see there. And I also went and I touched up right here onto his, where the stone is. So that's finished. Now, what I did too as well as I noticed there was a little strap over here that I didn't paint with the brown, the Minotaur leather brown, so I painted that too as well. So now we are going to jump on and do his hat. And we are going to use Cantor Blue. In the picture, you can definitely see that it's a brighter color that they use for his hat. And again, I'm going off of the showcase gallery in the back of the book. So we are just going to follow along with that because, you know, they painted it and it looks actually really good. So I'm probably off camera a little bit here because I just have to get the under part of his rim. So if I am, just bear with me. Because I want to get the under part of his brim of his hat. But I don't want to paint his face blue. Because Gandalf's not a member of the Blue Man group. Or Blue Wizard group. Interesting. Maybe Gandalf should do that. Join the Blue Wizard group. Yeah. You can just hear all of the songs that they'd be playing. Woo. I can't tell you what them songs are. So I'm just again painting underneath first the brim of his hat. There's a little wisp of his hair right there that I want to keep. I'm off camera. Again, I apologize. The angle of this, I can't really get it pointed while on camera properly, but I'll certainly try. There. Okay, so now let's paint the top part of his hat with the Cantor Blue. Very easy. Hats off to my son Brady. He put all the miniatures together for me. He glued them together. For gluing together, there was only a few little tiny parts. Like it's like maybe a one or a two-piece miniature that you have to put together. Very easy to put together. I do not like assembly. Brady likes assembling. I kind of enjoy the painting part a little bit more than with the assembly. So he's like, you know what, Dad? I'll put them together for you and then you can paint them. And that's what we did. That's what we agreed upon. It's team effort. So there is Gandalf the Grey's hat with the Cantor Blue. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the base with the Draw Stone Gray. You don't have to see that. After I'm painted that, I'll be back. After miniatures drying, we can throw all the washes onto him. Everything is painted, the base coats are all done, he's dry. I even base coated the base. And now we're just gonna go on and do the shading. And we're using for the skin, just like I've always done, the Recklin Flesh Shade. And you know, you can water it down. I water down mine usually to 70% of the shade and 30% water. And that's all I do for that. It's pretty easy. And then I just did his face, his hands. Gandalf is one of the easier miniatures to paint, I think, because the color scheme in this is less. And he's bigger too as well than all of the hobbits and as well as Gimli, because he's bigger, so it's easier to get at it. And that is it for the Recklin Flesh Shade. So the next thing I'm going to do is use Agrax Earth Shade now. And this is going to be undiluted. It's going to be completely just out of the pot itself. And I'm just going to grab my bigger brush for that because I don't really need to use a small little detail brush for that. So again, yep, just again, it's all undiluted. And pretty simple. I'm not like putting it on a specific way or trying to avoid anything. I'm just applying it as is, straight at the pot, very easy. Getting everything done, trying to stay away from the angle of the camera so I'm not blocking the view. Here, his beard, and then I'm just going to throw some Nuln oil onto the base, and that is going to be it. So I'm not going to bore you with just sitting there and applying the washes because pretty much all the same. I'll be back after everything is dry and we can start the highlights. All finished, the shade is all dried onto it, and you can see where it all pulled up around his beard. And also too as well on the base. One thing I didn't mention is I kind of gave a little bit of a cork underneath Gandalf's foot just to give more of a dramatic pose. He's standing up a little bit instead of just being flat on the base. I thought that was pretty cool the way that was. I liked it, so I did it. And now we are going to start doing the highlighting. And to start off with the highlighting, we're going to do his cloak and his garb, and for that we are going to highlight with Rust Gray. Here we go. So a little bit of Rust Gray, and again, just for the highlighting, I'm just grabbing where all the wrinkles are kind of raised up. See that on camera there. And then, you know, muting it just ever so slightly. Just like so. And again, I'm trying to give this one a little bit more, a little bit of a cartoony look, I guess you could say. Not like overwhelmingly cartoony, but just the highlights are a little more drastic than usual. I like the way how Gandalf's cloak is, so I'm trying to just really pop out the wrinkles and everything because I thought that the sculpt was beautiful for that. So I'm just going to continue on doing that. And hopefully it's going to work out to my benefit. If not, just like in other videos, I'm blocking it. Just like other videos, I'm going to, you know, if I don't like it, I'll just repaint. Not too difficult. You know, it's paint. I was going to say it's not permanent, but it can be permanent. You just have to be selective, that's all. And if you don't like something, just repaint over it. But you can only do that so much before you have to, you know, it's going to take away from the model. And then you're going to have to just, you know, strip it down completely and start from scratch again, which you can do. I've seen other people who've painted would strip something down and just repaint everything, and that's a lot of work to do that, but it can be done. So I'm just going to continue on here with doing the highlighting, and then when I'm all done, I'll be back and show you what his cloak looks like. The highlighting is done onto his cloak, his garb, his hat. I use the same color to do his hat too, as all you can see. It is kind of cartoony, but I like the look of that. I'm happy with it. Just kind of brought out. Now, if I wanted to, I could throw some wash onto it later on to tone it down even more. If I want to, which I may end up doing, we'll see. But we're going to keep continuing on. I'm going to do his beard now, and we're just going to use the palette Witch Flesh which I've used, and I'm thinking what we may do with this is just dry brush the palette witch flesh. I'm thinking that might be the best thing to do. Dry brush his beard and his hair. So again, just some palette witch flesh onto my brush here. I'm just going it over gently and carefully, just to bring out, you know, parts of his beard. I'm going to turn it around for his hair and do the same thing here. Nothing too drastic. I decided to take the palette witch flesh, and again, I did a dry brush on the entire thing, kind of just to break it up a little bit more, give it a little bit more contrast. You can see I like the way this turned out. It's Gandalf the Grey. Very happy, and again, I did his beard. Now the only thing left that I'm doing here, and I also dry brush the base too as well, but the only thing left I'm going to do is I'm going to take my roofing steel again and just go over the sword here, just to bring it out again, just to make it look a little cleaner. Not too clean though, because I like the dirty. Like I said, I like the dirty. Just a little tiny bit, you can see there. Same with this side. Do the same thing, and I'm kind of just going along the edge and just gently brushing it on. Like so. That's about it. I'm happy with this. Just clean off my brush. I don't have too many issues with the way he's looking. You know, I'm happy enough. He's good enough to be on camera to play the game. And I hope you enjoyed it too as well. I hope you followed along with me, did some painting of your own, and just listened to me talking about just all different things. And there you go, Board Game Maniacs. Hope you enjoyed this painting along with me episode where we painted Gandalf the Grey from Lord of the Rings Quest to Mount Doom by Games Workshop. Next, we are going to be painting... I don't know exactly who I'm going to paint yet. I got 3 left. I got Aragorn, I got Legolas, and I got Vladimir, I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just flip that over just to make sure that that is who it is. No, Boromir is a 2 as well. So Legolas, Aragorn, and Boromir. Vladimir, where'd I get that at? Who knows? In either case, that's who I have left to paint, so I'm thinking I may just go and paint Boromir next. So tune in for the next episode of Painting Along with me, where we're going to paint him. So until then, Board Game Maniacs, comment down below, let me know what you thought of the video, and comment about anything, my painting, my voice, you know, the lighting setup, the camera, all of the stuff, you know, just, but again, be nice. Be positively commenting. You don't have to say everything was awesome if it's not awesome to you, but you know, give me some tips and tricks, because that's what this series is all about, so I can learn more on how to paint this properly, or paint miniatures properly, I should say. And if you like, don't forget to click the subscribe and bell notification, get notified for more videos such as this when they come available onto our channel. So until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac. Boo! You shall not pass. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to keep up to date with Board Game Maniacs, click on the like and subscribe button to be notified when more videos come available. If you want to become an official sponsor of Board Game Maniacs, go to patreon.com/BoardGameManiacs. Or you can go to streamlabs.com/BoardGameManiacs1. That's right, and you can donate to help keep the lights on, keep food in our bellies, and play more games. We'll purchase more games, more equipment to make Board Game Maniacs evolve and get bigger and larger. Because of you, the viewers, I thank you from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head for all of your support. And until next time, Board Game Maniacs, be a maniac.